I was invited to come to participate in this ASEAN Connect. And I suppose the reason why I'm invited is that I used to be Secretary General of ASEAN, based in Jakarta. I was there from 2003 to 2008.
Right.
Yeah. So currently I am Executive Deputy Chairman of the S. Rajaratnam School of International Study in the Nanyang Technological University here. And I continue to follow what is happening in ASEAN. And I continue to work in the Foreign Ministry in my capacity as Ambassador at Large and looking after Iran and Pakistan. Well, first of all, I was asked about what ASEAN has achieved in the last 50 years and going forward, what ASEAN will be like. So I explained a bit of the mechanism and the process in which ASEAN carry out its work in the last 50 years and going forward, what kind of scenario we expect to encounter in the ASEAN region. ASEAN is not perfect. There are many things not yet resolved and not yet stabilized because ASEAN community building is a relatively new concept. But I am optimistic. I'm optimistic that ASEAN will be able to accomplish many things. Yeah, and we should not use our historical categorization to assess whether ASEAN can make it or not. Yeah, we should give ASEAN a chance, and many things have happened in ASEAN. Yeah, in many ways, the ASEAN image is evolving, but I think there is good prospects for ASEAN to do more. ASEAN is viewed as a rather successful grouping for Southeast Asia, and we have very good geographic location. We have rather good natural resources, and we are in the middle of these major trade routes between East and West. So we are actually in a very good position. So if we manage our relationship well with all these big countries and other countries outside of this region, we should be able to have a stable relationship, we have peace, and then we can have our economic growth. The important thing is that all ASEAN countries today want to grow and maintain the kind of achievement they have done for the last 40 years. And if we know how to manage our expectation, as well as the complex issues troubling some of our member countries, as well as our relation with other countries outside of the association, I think we should be able to register good growth and can say that we can do well. It will depend on how leadership manage each of our issues and how the leadership can lead the respective ASEAN countries to stay on course with the ASEAN agenda. The important thing about the ASEAN development is that we are regarded as a region with relatively young population.
That's right. Yep.
So we are largely in the age group mid-20 to mid-30s, and going forward, these citizens of ASEAN countries, they have their own technological skills, their own expectation, and because they are in this digital age, their outlook will be very different. And like what you see and read in the newspaper, they are called the millennials.
Yes.
Yeah. So how can their aspiration and how can their desire be met by the governments of their respective country will be very critical. Yeah.
Right.
But I am quite positive. I don't think there will be big revolution or there can be constant upheaval. I think the last 50 years, the generally peaceful and stable atmosphere and condition in Southeast Asia have basically engendered a very good outlook among the young people. I think they are no longer interested in war or, you know, instability in relationship with each other. I think they are prepared to work together and achieve whatever goals that we have laid down. But this is internally ASEAN. And as you alluded to, ASEAN has other big countries around it, other countries outside Southeast Asia. How do they see us? They see us as a very important partner for whatever they want to do. So they will be constantly trying to attract us to their side of the picture. They want to get us to support whatever they wish to do. And Southeast Asia has always been a magnet for major powers from around the world to come to our region to preserve their interests. Look after the shipping route, look after their trade, look after their access to natural resources, and to have political alliance and partnership which will help them in the UN and elsewhere. So going forward, I think we have to manage this. It's important that we don't take sides. ASEAN has done quite well in the last 50 years by maintaining a rather neutral and fair position, and we have dealt with difficult issues affecting some of the big countries from outside the region in a rather balanced manner. So I think if we maintain that kind of position, focus on what we can do to look after ourselves by having a more stable, balanced relationship with all these other external parties, I think it will do us good. If we have a good leadership, if we stay together in our ASEAN community building way, I think, we can seize all these opportunities. This is a stage of history that we have to go through. And you look at what has happened in history, it is not new. But the important thing is how leadership, how government can manage it. And how we make use of the opportunity that presents itself as a result of this kind of development. So I feel somehow that we can do it. There will be some noises, there will be some uncertainty, but if we stay focused on the principle and the strategic picture, we should be able to tackle it. It will not be easy. There will be a lot of doing and flowing, but I think it will not take us to a point where we all break up. And looking at what is happening in Europe, what is happening in other parts of the world, they are going through their own domestic upheaval of sorts because they have been used to a particular order for 5 to 6 decades already. So history is such that we go through this kind of periods from time to time. But everybody stay rooted to the importance of the family and the community and the country, as well as the general peace and stability of the region. I think we will be able to manage it. We have to give confidence to our citizens, give confidence to investors coming here. We have to be a reasonably effective, efficient body. If we are a bum outfit, who wants to come? If we are not able to provide the basic ingredients of a business opportunity, having good potential for the future, and people can come here, make money, at the same time do good for themselves and for the people around them, who wants to come? So at the end, therefore, I feel that it is necessary for us to look at this whole picture. We will continue to be stressed by all this kind of development uncertainty, but I feel that if we are able to sort of look at all this knowledge that we acquired today, and then sit down and say, okay, this is how it's like OBOR, infrastructure spending, and China is interested in doing that. How can we, as ASEAN, as individual country, also tap in and get something out of it? at the end, each of us have to give and take lah. Yeah, but we must not be too impatient. Infrastructure development require minimum 3 to 5 years. You cannot build a road in one day. You cannot build a bridge in 1 month. You need time. Yeah, and as you go along in this way, you have to give yourself some time, and also, I think one thing is very important. Everybody must see a stake in the whole thing. So if you are a big country, you say, I want to do this project, and then you take everything that is for yourself or your company. Then who in the locality involved will want to work with you? They are only having a very momentary benefit. Yeah? After the benefit is consumed, then they will start scratching their head and say, why should we go on with this? So as we go along, I always stress that we embark on big development projects involving different countries with ASEAN. We must always say who get what, how it will allow all the stakeholders to get some benefits. Right. That is important. And as you hear today, many of the speakers say that, in terms of certain aspect of ASEAN community building, certain aspect of China-ASEAN relation and China's relationship with the world, we still have to go through certain review, certain soul searching. Yes, this is the very nature of development, the very nature of looking for projects that work with other countries. Yeah, but the fact is, these are all the opportunities over there, and if we are smart enough to understand what is going on and make the best of it, we will benefit ourselves.